This video is a challenge to the following preachers of abiogenesis and evolutionism on YouTube: Thunderfoot, Gets Chris, Freethinker, Aaron Raw, CDK007, Don Exodus 2, Potholder 54, Koala Soup, Phil Helene,
Pilgrim Pater,
The Thinking Atheist, and Extant Dodo, and any other preacher of abiogenesis and evolution on YouTube.
What was that, Neph? Abiogenesis and evolution? So you admit that they are two separate entities?
Who has 10,000 subscribers or more.
What a shame. I've only got just over 300 subs, and yet I consistently pawn your arse onto your shoulders.
You claim that creation is unscientific. You think that you say it's bunk, right? Well, creationists have been telling you a long time that your ideas about evolution and abiogenesis is bunk.
Yeah, but we have demonstrable evidence. You don't.
I would like for you to be able to demonstrate for me. This is a challenge to you. Demonstrate to me why abiogenesis is scientific and why I'm wrong. How life could have arisen on the earth by natural means and then became complex and then diversified into the life forms that we see in this world today.
Well, before I start, we don't even have to know the how. The fossil record exhibiting increasing complexity of life over a geological time tells us that it is.
I'm going to give you some assertions that I've been saying in my videos for a long time, and I want to see if you can debunk any of them.
Oh, for pity's sake, Neph. Surely I'm not going to have to debunk the same old crap again.
Okay? Show me with science why my assertions are false. Let's see if you have what it takes to demonstrate your worldview with science. You believe that life arose on this planet by natural means, don't you? You believe in abiogenesis, don't you? You believe that self-replicating molecules created themselves in some primordial goo, right? And then these became more and more complex, and the DNA finally formed and a cell formed, and then the first complex organism, right? And there was life then diversified into the plethora of complex living things that we see today, right? You believe that jargon, don't you?
Wish your girlfriend was hot like me, don't ya?
Show me how I'm wrong with science. I make the following assertions. Let's see if any of you have what it takes to demonstrate that your cockamamie ideas are correct because of science. Life on Earth was already complex in the oldest record. Therefore, there's no record of life becoming complex on the Earth. It's already vastly complex in the oldest, simplest forms that we see in the world.
It does not matter whether the earliest life we have detected is complex or not. And who are you to define as what is complex? What is important is that the fossils exhibit a large-scale increase in complexity over a geological time. That's still a major sticking point for you, isn't it, Nephy? We have less evidence of single-cell organisms that preceded the Cambrian because soft-bodied cells can only leave an impression, unlike fossils left by creatures with a skeleton, internal or external. What is the complexity of early cells? We don't know, just like you cannot make the assumption that they are as complex as modern cells. When and how did chemistry become biology? We don't know, but we do have some plausible hypotheses, which is more than you have. I'll list these later.
There hasn't been enough time for complex self-replicating organisms to arise by natural means in this Earth. Complex organic molecules and DNA would have been destroyed by the Earth's environment. In other words, as your imaginary abiogenesis process is occurring, these molecules organized themselves into something self-replicating and complex and then became more and more increasingly complex over time, right? There hasn't been enough time, even in your imaginary billions of years for this age of this Earth. There hasn't been enough time for that to happen, and it couldn't happen because the environment of the Earth, the water, the oxygen, the solar radiation, and whatnot, would have destroyed those things if they were forming vastly magnitudes of order times faster than they could even form. I've said that many times in my videos.
You probably have, and that's why your videos are crap. Right, your first assertion that there has not been enough time. Where is your calculation for this empty, baseless statement? Tell us why 3 billion years is not enough, especially in light of your claim whereby all species in a kind evolved over just a few thousand years. Next, your radiation supposition. Extremophiles are found in caves actually living off the minerals in rocks. Also, black smokers support life that is completely cut off from the sun's effects. So in both cases we have examples of life that cannot be affected by radiation. As for oxygen, it's well known that oxygen levels were relatively low in the Precambrian period. Come on, Nephy, keep up to date.
There's no evidence that life can arise from non-life on this planet. None. Abiogenesis has no evidence whatsoever. Biogenesis, that is, life arises from life, is a fact, a scientific fact, as we observe it in this world. We don't observe any evidence that life could arise from non-life on this earth.
Well, I'm no expert, but we know that science has progressed well beyond the Urey Miller days. But you are right, we don't observe abiogenesis happening in nature. Think about it though, if we did, then life would be absolute chaos. And as you have just hinted yourself, current levels of oxygen would just stop abiogenesis in its tracks. No, abiogenesis is something that would only happen once, and in conditions that are totally different to today. Besides, if it did happen, we would never know, because unlike the first time, there are organisms that will consume such new life. Mind you, no matter how many hypotheses later on come to prove abiogenesis, we can never know which was the one. This, of course, gives the hapless lazy creatard a last refuge for the god of gaps. But every person with half a brain cell knows why you concentrate on abiogenesis, because it detracts from the solid evidence of subsequent evolution. Just another of your many headaches, Neph.
Statistics demonstrates that there hasn't been enough time for life to arise by natural means. And statistics demonstrates that proto-organisms, that is, organisms which are difficult to label as either plant or animal, couldn't have arisen by natural means on the earth. Prove me wrong. I'm going to put these assertions on the screen for you to read at the end of this video.
Yeah, he puts the assertions on screen later, but folks, you won't see any statistics to support his baseless claim. But why proto-organisms, Nephy? Again, folks, don't hold your breath for these stats that show proto-organisms don't have enough time to evolve.
If you think that your worldview is correct, show the world, show me how your ideas about abiogenesis are correct, that life could have arisen on this planet by natural means, and that my idea, therefore, is false. Show me how science supports your idea, your belief, that life arose on the earth by natural means, that there wasn't a divine creator, that it happened in some primordial goo, or that, or anywhere, that it just happened. The complex molecules organized themselves to become the first living thing, and then this living thing diversified and to create, a multitude of complex organisms. Show me how science demonstrates your cockamamie ideas. Prove me wrong.
But that's what so many of us do all the time, Neph. By the way, just noticed, have you been trying to audition as George Clooney in ER?
If you have what it takes, take this challenge. Show me why I'm such an idiot.
Nah, it doesn't need me to show you that. Look, I'm no expert in any of the following fields, but I know that extensive research is being carried out on these hypotheses. 1. Volcanic vents. 2. Extremophiles in caves and near boiling springs. 3. Organic matter on extraterrestrial objects. 4. Alkaline vents, and no doubt there are more. Let's not forget that a designer is not impossible, but the subsequent evolution dispels all religious claims. By the way, if you think I'm softening, then don't. By not impossible, I mean exactly that. In other words, extremely improbable, in light of what we know and absolutely no proof for to date, unless, Neph, you ever come up with some. In fact, you haven't even come close. So let's summarize a few points. You argue from ignorance, with non-existent statistics. You assume early Earth had the same conditions as today when we know for sure this is untrue. You are dead right in pointing out that the cell is complex, but dead wrong in assuming the first cells were of the same order. So we can safely say, true to form, that your challenge is crap and based on assumptions and guesses. When we don't know, we say so, but without the slightest morsel of evidence, it allows you to play the God done it card. So here is Neph's list, not a statistic in sight. Oh well, try harder next time, Nephy. This pathetic attempt at a challenge is solely to detract from your lack of any evidence for creation.
I'm such an idiot.
Yes, indeed you are, Nephy. Remember this from the beginning.
This video is a challenge to the following preachers of abiogenesis and evolutionism on YouTube.
Strange then that he makes this response to Baruch, a Christian, regards video challenges.
Challenge me to a debate. But you want to do this video rebuttals back and forth. You know, you make one, I make one, you make one, I make one. That's not a debate. I'm not going to agree to that because it's not a debate.
Doesn't Neph know that's what YouTube is all about? Video responses. A very good way of exchanging views. Unless you block, of course.